Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Silver bells, silver bells, silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Jingling, jingling, hear them ring, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Well, it's Christmas in 50 minutes, and on the East Coast, I was not planning on going live tonight because it's Christmas Eve, but I'm not the best at breaking news. Apparently, this was breaking news yesterday, and I'm just not finding out about this. And one thing nobody could ever accuse me of being is a cult member. And what I will say, in all fairness, if this news was reported about a prominent person on the left, when I have strong feelings about them, I would be talking about this. I would be live talking about this as soon as I found out. So just because it's Donnie and I think he's hilarious and I think he's doing a lot of things that are America first, that does not mean I'm not going to talk about this now. There's one thing about me, I don't gangbang. I'm not loyal to nobody's colors. So I'm going to find out and read this information live with y'all, and we going to see what's up. Because obviously people who support the right, no matter what, they're going to be quiet on this information, or they're going to do mental gymnastics to get around what they're reading if it's actually substantial. And it seems like it. And if you a liberal, you're not even going to read anything. All you're going to hear is Trump's on the all you're going to hear is Trump's on the Epstein list, and that's good enough for you. So either way, if you're loyal to a color, you're going to see it through. If you're loyal to the Democrats, you're going to read this information through blue colored glasses. And if you're loyal to the Republicans, you're going to read this information through red colored glasses. You see what I'm saying? Me personally, let me tell you when I got interested in American history. Oh, by the way, shout out to all the men coming to my comment section, making ubiquitous comments and remarks and stuff. That shows where your head is at this time of night, coming to a man's channel. That's all I'm saying. But I started paying attention to America and American history when I had this dope teacher. She taught U.S. history before and after 1877. And she told us that by the end of the class, she didn't want us to be able to tell whether she was a liberal or a conservative. I already like that as an instructor. That's big. But also, the whole premise of her history class was she didn't care if you memorized and regurgitated names and dates for a test. She wanted you to understand who got what and why throughout the course of American history. Such a dope class. It was U.S. history before 1877, and the class was so dope, I took U.S. history after 1877, and these were both elective classes, mind you. So, and I used to be a lifelong Democrat like most black people, but then after Bernie was talking about free healthcare, and they gave us Hillary instead of Bernie, I was like, I got to start paying more attention. And then after Barack Obama said, I can't give black people reparations because presidents don't have that kind of financial power. And then Joe Biden was sending $100 billion to Ukraine whenever he felt like it. I was like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not blindly loyal to anybody's political party, whoever you are. Um, in the past presidential election, Trump was clearly the better choice than Kamala because she couldn't answer a question without word salad. It was ridiculous. She's ridiculous. The fact that she's ridiculous. Not to mention, Donnie is hilarious. And also, these days, regular, normal people have been kicked out of the Democratic Party because we don't think boys belong in girls' locker rooms. We don't think boys belong in girls' sports. You know, we think the government should put Americans first instead of migrants first. Regular thinking people. We think there are two genders. Regular thinking people. You know, we've been kicked out. We've been kicked out from being Democrats. All right. Okay. Kick me out. I don't care what you label me. I'm a thinking person. I guess I'm what you can call an independent. I guess. So, that being said, apparently Donnie is all over the Epstein list, and they're going to be releasing little bits and pieces because they received a million new pieces of information. So they're going to be releasing this to the public as they go through it and stuff. I'm not really I'm not really the political guy. I'm just the common sense guy. I'm also 37. So, you know, as a 37-year-old man, you should kind of be in tune with a little bit of what's going on. And everybody out here who does not vote, I understand lots of people don't vote because the Electoral College and blah, blah, blah. But if you let the Electoral College tricking you out of voting for president, you literally don't vote for anything else. You don't vote for any of the laws that actually govern you. You don't vote for the governor, the mayor, the aldermen, the judges, the councilmen, the state senate, the state house of representatives. There's so many things you choose not to vote for because you don't want to vote for the dog and pony show that is the president of the United States. I just want you to remember that. The next time you complain about high taxes in your state or anything, just remember, you didn't vote for nobody. I'm pretty sure over 40% of eligible voters do not vote in the United States every year. That's disgusting. But Trump is all over these Epstein files that have just come out. And I'm finna get into this. Y'all ready? I'm ready to get into this. Hold up. I guess the blacked out spaces are the person's are people's names that they're protecting. All right. Blank asked blank about his time driving a limousine for 2 years in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. During blank time as a driver, he had met Donald Trump. Blank noted he picked up the president in 1995 and took him to the DFW airport. Blank reported some of the things President Trump had spoken about during the ride while on his cell phone were very concerning. Okay, so this is this is the definition of he said she said. This is this is this is this is hearsay for real, for real. I'm gonna keep reading this, but this is somebody saying what somebody else said. That's literally the definition of hearsay. But I'm gonna keep it going. I'm impartial judge here. Blank reported that he was a few seconds from pulling the limousine over on the median and within a few seconds of pulling him out of the car and hurting him due to some things he was saying. So Trump threatened this guy, as the caller chose not to. Blank noted that Trump continually stated the name Jeffrey while on the phone and made references to him abusing some girl. So he was on the phone talking to somebody named Jeffrey about abusing some girl while he was in the back of your car, and you telling us what he said on the phone. You telling, okay, I'm with you, because you could be listening. Blank was unsure who he was talking to, nor who he was referencing. As Blank talked about his time meeting Donald Trump, Blank demeanor went stone cold. As Blank stated, he R-worded me. Okay, so this dude says somebody told him that Trump R-worded her. Okay. But you notice how I'm noticing how these aren't quotes saying that I like you see what I'm saying? This is a lot of third party hearsay, because this is saying someone said, she said, because this isn't a direct quote of the dude saying she told me he R-worded me. This says Blank stated. This says Blank stated he R-worded me, and the other Blank said what? You see, it would have said, and I said what, if this was a direct quote from the outcry witness. This is the outcry witness of the outcry witness. I'm talking like this because I literally beat a case like this. It was a disorderly conduct charge, and I went to court, and the people who were accusing me of something, they lied. They didn't even show up to court, and the officer was there who they called, and the officer was testifying to what they told him, but he didn't see nothing. So I asked the judge, was that even legal? I was representing myself. I said, Judge, this officer is testifying to what people told him. I came to court to confront my accuser, and my accuser isn't here. You're going to allow the testimony of someone who the accuser told what happened? This can't be legal. The judge literally said, this is the definition of hearsay. We're going to have to dismiss this case. I'm just saying. Because it would have said, Blank stated he R-worded me. Blank said, what? As Blank replied, Donald J. Trump R-worded her along with Jeffrey Epstein. Blank noted some girl with a funny name. You see, this is the person still talking about what the outcry witness told them. Okay. Blank advised Blank to call the police. You see what I'm saying? It would have said, I advised such and such to call the police if this was an account from the outcry witness. Because the exact quotes are in quotation. If it was a quote from somebody, it's in quotation. This isn't like a subscriber's way of talking, so it seems that way. This is Blank advised Blank to call the police regarding the incident, as Blank stated, I can't. They will unalive me. Now, this is where it gets fishy. For real, for Trump. On Christmas Day, Blank contacted Blank stated she had in fact called the police about what they had talked about. Blank told Blank she had done good. Blank did not hear from Blank or Blank until 1 January 10th, 2000. There's still a bunch of third party blanks. Blank reached out to Blank stating Blank was and noted she was found with her head blown off in Oklahoma, Kiefer, Oklahoma. So the girl who said that Trump R-worded her was found with her head blown off. Suspicious. You see, what I've always said about the people who lie on Trump, if you don't like Trump, the truth is good enough. This is enough of a reason to form an opinion on why I don't like somebody. This would be enough. If you said the girl who accused him of R-wording her popped up with her top blown off, I couldn't argue with you. I'd be like, yeah, that's suspicious as hell. Hell, if you would say, I don't like Trump because I don't like how he doesn't treat people with ICE with individual respect. Why are people who've been here for 15, 20 years getting kicked out when all they've done is work? I couldn't say anything to you. That's valid. You see, if you don't like the man, there are plenty of reasons not to like the man that are true. You lose all credibility when you start lying. Now, if you're skeptical, that's fine too. I just gave you plenty of reasons to be skeptical. This is the outcry witness of the outcry witness. Now, unless they're both unalived, which I can understand, but either way, this isn't even this isn't even kind of legal. But it is enough to form an opinion, for sure. Officers on the scene and such stated there was no way it was a self-unaliving. The coroner stated it was an unaliving. Blank later stated Blank committed self-unaliving because Blank had gotten from a Mexican drug cartel. Blank feels the unaliving is a cover for I never learned how to pronounce that lady's last name. The woman who was Trump's the woman who was Epstein's confidant, the lady who was hooking everything up. I never learned how to pronounce her last name. This right here, what I just read, is not concrete either way. If you are someone who dislikes Trump, this is fuel for your fire. If you're someone who has seen Trump sue and win news organizations, news channels, because they lied on him, this is full of holes. So depending on how you feel, no matter how you lean, this is going to make you feel however you already feel. Me as a critical thinker, I don't know. Because like I said, this is the outcry witness of the outcry witness. And if that was just the case, I would throw it out. But the fact that she went to the police and then she popped up. Now, is there a police report? But it was also 1995. They could have got rid of, like there's lots of things that I want to dig into now when it comes to this. Now, this is from the FBI. Date and time received 10/27/2020, just made available. On 10/27/2020 at 3:20 p.m. Eastern Time, such and such called the FBI National Threat Operations Center to report potential information related to Jeffrey Epstein and Lady Maxwell. Blank provided the following information. Blank reported around 1997 he made contact with such and such, whom he had known for 6 or 7 years prior, as they had a son together. Blank and Blank ended up dating, and Blank explained she was having money issues and problems with her daughter. Blank noted they were friends from before. During the contact in 1997, Blank asked how to spell Ghislaine, whatever her name is, multiple times, as Blank noted she had taken her daughter up to see one of the supposed fathers who lived in Niagara Falls, New York recently. What does that have to do with anything with Trump? Okay. Blank reported she had met a lady who invited her daughters Blank and Blank to a fancy hotel, here we go, and met Donald Trump and some of his friends in 1997. Blank continued asking how to spell Ghislaine, implying Ghislaine had given her money and would give her additional money if needed. So she was bringing the girls, huh? And I got this so close to my face because it's not bright. I'm saying it's not dark, I should say. On Christmas Eve of 1999, or the day prior, Blank was over visiting his son, who he had lived with Blank years prior. Blank began talking to Blank, as she assumed to be acting strange, and asked Blank if he needed a ride home. Blank asked Blank about his time driving a limousine for 2 years in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. During Blank's time as a driver, he had met Donald Trump. Oh, and that's what I read to y'all before about the girl, the head blown off, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we go. Thanks for the super chat. The last contact with Blank was after Blank posted this information on her Facebook a couple of weeks prior. Blank called Blank, yelling that he had put the family in danger. Blank explained Blank had a third daughter named Blank. Note, during Blank report, he mentioned John Doe number 2 was actually John W. Nichols, who tried to originally set Blank up for the bombing in Oklahoma City. Nichols worked for Bill and Hillary Clinton, as Blank ate at a place where Nichols worked security at the door. Hillary walked up to Blank drunk and began yelling as Blank. This ain't got nothing to do with. All right, so what was important out of all of that? Sorry, I read all that for no reason because it's my first time reading it. So what was important out of all of that is what I read to y'all the first time about the girl who claimed to be R-worded by Trump, and then she woke up unalived. And then the new piece of information was some lady apparently was bringing little girls to him as well. I need to as some people smarter than me, who is dictating all of this information? You know, like, I need to know from whose point of view am I reading? Because all of this seems like a bunch of he said, she said later and after the fact. We talking about conversations had in 1997. And we're saying that in the 90s, this girl said Trump R-worded her. And after she went to the police, she was found unalived. And they ruled it a self-unaliving. I can see that happening in 1995. For sure. But that was a long time ago. And all this he said, she said conversation. Am I really supposed to believe this? Especially fresh off of Jordan Pauline lying on Talil. For as long as men have been horrible, that's also as long as people have been lying. And they received this information in 2020. So in 2020, they're telling you about this man R-wording y'all from 1995. But also, if you one of the skeptics, you like, this is why they didn't want this information to come out. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's really hard for me to form a hard opinion on this stuff because we talking about 30-year-old crimes here. And I've been lied on before. I just need more people who I trust to look at this with an unbiased eye to kind of break this down for me a little bit better. Because I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I ain't gonna lie to you. I entertain y'all. I tell jokes. I'm vulgar. I call people bitches. I I I I sing and dance with Pampers for a living. Excuse me. I'm intelligent because I live the way God intended, because he gave us 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and 1 mouth. So I listen, observe, and smell at least twice as much as I speak. But I will never profess to be one of the smartest people in America. I need somebody like Anton Daniels to break this down for me a little bit. Somebody like Larry Elder, to break this down for me a little bit. I need the opinions of people who are smarter than me. Now, there is someone who I follow online. He's a comedian named Lawrence Johnson. And he does his research on things, but he's extremely left leaning. And the fact that he made videos based on the same things that I just saw, he's willing to take the he's willing to take the outcry of the outcry from 25 years ago because he don't like Trump. And I'm not mad at him for doing that. And I don't think that's uninformed because he's going by what he read. I'm just saying immediately the way I'm reading this, I see this is the outcry of the outcry. And this girl, nothing's definite from what I've read so far. But I will not say one way or another that these people are lying on Trump. But I will not say one way or another, oh yeah, he's exactly what they say he is. Because once again, We fresh off the man suing news networks for millions of dollars and winning. See, we can't say, why would they lie on Trump? Because news networks have been caught lying on this man. So why wouldn't a person in 2020 lie? It would just be nice if there was any living victim who would say something about Trump. But his name is in these files a lot. Like a shit ton. A whole lot. You feel me? That's irrefutable. Now, I would like to know the timeline of him being in these files up until he said, I thought he was a sick pervert, so I threw him out of my clubs. Because as a person who can like someone and then you find out some information about somebody and you're like, oh, I can't rock with them no more. I'm capable of that. So maybe that's what happened. I don't know the timeline. But you all over these files, Mr. President. You was all over these files, Mr. President. Now, if you're an alt-right, not even an alt-right, if you're a Trump supporter and you feel like they be lying on him, one could argue they held on to all of this crap since 2020 to fabricate stuff against him. You see what I'm saying? Like, none of this will make anybody who feels one type of way feel the other. If you're skeptical, you're still skeptical. If you think Trump is guilty, you still think he's guilty. Now you could say, well, why didn't she immediately go to the police after it happened? I even have to admit, in 1995, if you were assaulted by a powerful man, good luck after you go to the police. That I will concede. Because 1995 was not 2005. Not 2015 and not 2025. We're talking about 1995. You think money talk now? Shit. They ain't even had cameras and recording devices on a regular basis round in. That was the definition of he said, she said, especially if you didn't go get a kit done immediately afterwards. But according to this, she did go to the police. So now, the people who really hate Trump, all you have to do is read this, go find out if you can find out her name and figure out if there's a police report, do the digging like y'all always do. Y'all found out who Becky with the good hair was in 10 minutes. And that's not important at all. This is actually important. So you people who be doing all this digging, be finding out stuff, y'all need to figure out who blank was, figure out who the other blank was, and then find the police report that she did or didn't file, but it says she did. Because if she filed the police report as per the Epstein files, they should be able to find it. And that just strengthens the argument for all of this he said, she said. Because yes, it is he said, she said. But the fact that she popped up unalived shortly after she reported the assault, allegedly, that's, if I was watching a movie, we'd be like, oh, yeah, that man's guilty. Let's see what TMZ had to say. President Trump's name just came up in the Epstein Files in a huge way. There's an FBI document where someone apparently told authorities Trump and Epstein R-worded a female. You see what I'm saying? I'm not tripping. I read very well. Someone told authorities that Trump and Epstein did this. Someone told authorities that Trump and Epstein did this. All right. The claim is part of an unclassified FBI intake form from October 2020. And the document says someone called the FBI National Threat Operations Center unit to report potential information related to Epstein and his associate Maxwell. The intake report essentially a detailed summary of a tip received by FBI personnel from a civilian. There's a redacted name, that was the blanks, that states he R-worded me in reference to Trump. A redacted name is also quoted as saying Donald J. Trump had R-worded her along with Jeffrey Epstein. The age of the alleged victim is unclear. I can't really get jiggy with this. Trump's name is all over the intake report, including one part where someone claims they used to work as a limo driver in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and once picked up Trump and took him to the DFW airport. The person claims they overheard Trump on the phone in the limo saying the name Jeffrey multiple times and making reference to abusing some girl. So he was so cocky, he was talking about this out loud on the phone in front of a stranger. Now, I have heard that very rich people often don't see or hear the help. But we reached out to the White House. They referred us to a DOJ statement that some of the evidence in the files is sensationalized and false. especially claims made against President Trump that were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. There's your motive to lie right there. Yeah, they already think I'm a coon. They gonna really think I'm cooning out now because it's really hard for me to get with some third party. I'm calling the FBI shortly before the 2020 election to tell the FBI that I used to work for a limo company and I overheard Trump telling somebody named Jeffrey that they were abusing a girl. And then somebody else, or maybe that same person, because the names are redacted, that person or somebody else was the outcry witness to that person being abused. And after the abused person went to the police, they popped up. Now that is the part that I will submit to the conspiracy theorists with. That's hella suspicious. I ain't gonna cap to you. And the fact that they mentioned the cartel. No, actually they said that it was a self-unaliving and cocaine was involved. But the person who was the outcry witness also said it couldn't have been a self-unaliving because they were privy to sensitive police investigation information. Like they saw the how did they conclude as a limo driver that it couldn't have been a self-unaliving? Like, did you have a brother or a cousin who worked as a detective and let you see certain files? Or maybe it was a different person who was blanked out who said that they personally thought it couldn't have been a self-unaliving. But the police and the medical examiner said it was. But I also know police and medical examiners be lying. Not all the time, but if there's a reason to, like it's racially motivated in a certain town in America, or for a multimillionaire, so because Epstein Island apparently was functioning for a long time. And that Epstein dude had been rich and famous for a long time. So he was used to doing all this stuff in the shadows for a long time. He had a network of people who he was paying off. So I'm not saying that this couldn't happen, that this didn't happen. What I am saying, though, is based on what has come out so far, I think, well, I can't really submit to this conspiracy theory, but what I can say is what I just read and what has come out so far, all it does is fuel how you already feel. If you feel like Trump is guilty, he's disgusting, he's a horrible person, this information fans the flames. If you feel like there's always some third party, he said, she said, lying on this man, and he sued literal news networks for millions of dollars and won because they were caught lying on him too. He's suing the BBC for $1 billion for doctoring footage on him. And he gonna win because they did. So this information, unfortunately, will change nobody's mind. Because once again, this is some guy in 2020 calling the FBI saying that 25 years ago, I overheard Trump talking about assaulting somebody. And 25 years ago, somebody told me Trump assaulted them. And I told them to go to the police, and they went to the police, and then they popped up. Now, given the fact that this information has just come out, we have to remember the liberals are the ones who found Becky with the good hair. Y'all remember when Beyonce came out with Lemonade? and 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 Beyonce told the world that Jay-Z was cheating? Becky with the good hair? It wasn't conservative women that cared to find out who Becky with the good hair. It was the intense Beehive members. Those are all liberals. So, one thing the liberals can do is some investigative journalism when they're passionate. So, given all the information that I just read, some liberal news source, if that police report exists, they'll find it. If that woman's autopsy and unaliving was suspicious and the paperwork is suspicious and it disappeared in whatever county or whatever, they'll find it. Please believe it. You know they will. I'm confident. So I am excited to see what comes out, because if we don't hear any more details besides what I just read, there are none. Because these people hate Donald Trump with a white hot intensity of 1,000 suns. So they will dig based on this information. And if the information is there, they will for sure find it. And I will let y'all know. 1,000%. I'll be damned if this ain't interesting. Because one thing I am never here for is anyone who abuses kids, anybody who takes virtue, you know? So and this anonymous dude, bro, needs to come forward. Do what you didn't do when that victim needed you most. You see, you didn't do right. If this happened the way you said it did, you didn't do right by that victim 25 years ago. Do right by her now. Make yourself unanonymous. Tell us who you used to work for. Tell us where she told you this. What they gonna do to you? What you scared for? I'm not calling you a liar. I'm just saying we need to know who you are, because all you are is an anonymous person saying some chick said Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein assaulted her 25 years ago. I'm sorry, 30 years ago. That's what you are right now, is a dude who called the FBI in 2020 and said, 25 years ago, I heard Trump talking to a guy named Jeffrey about assaulting somebody. And I can't tell because the names are blocked out, but I don't know if you're also the outcry witness or someone else is an outcry witness. I don't know if these two are the same. That limo ride and the girl who cried out to someone and said, not cried out, but the outcry, who said they assaulted her and was urged to go to the police. I don't know if these are separate cases or the same one. We can't tell because the names are blocked out. All I'm saying is, liberals, do your homework, do the reporting, and I will be a part of the audience. Because one thing I am is a grown man interested in this. For sure, you're right on. Thank God we live in 2025, the days of the internet, free information, and independent media. So I just need these liberals, the hardcore liberals, the passionate ones, the ones who found Becky with the good hair. You hear me? I need y'all to find these people. I need you to find these police reports. I need you to find this girl's unaliving. I need the timeline. I need to know if the autopsy looked fishy. I watch Criminal Minds. All these cold cases, they be having files. All these cases have files. They're archived. They all have files. Do your job. Don't you want to prove that this man is bad? Do the work. I'm anxious to see it. Either way. Because let me tell you something. I know it's the holiday right now. And then business day by Tuesday the 30th, if I don't see no more details on this, all I'm assuming is the only thing y'all have is what these people said. But we're talking about someone who was unalived. There was an investigation and it was ruled a self-unaliving. We're talking about cocaine. There were implications that there might be something involved with the cartel. Maybe this information is there. If it's not a made-up story, this information is there. Do your job, TMZ. All these reporters, do your job. I'm excited to see this. Because like I said, what I read is not enough for you to be like, it's not enough to change anybody's mind. But on the 30th, I'll come back here and tell y'all if anybody should change their mind. It's like when you grow up thinking that a certain religion is beautiful and peaceful, it's just different. And then you actually find out and you read that there are over 100 parts in their holy book that call for violence against non-believers. It changed my mind. I'm not saying all of the people are bad, but the religion is not beautiful and peaceful. It's one of conquering and violence. And then your heaven is 72 unflowered flowers. You're just full of pleasure in heaven. That's all you want in heaven? Let me tell you what I would like for my personal heaven. And we're not talking about the things that I like and stuff. What I would like, because I love to work, I love having a purpose. And I'm sorry if this is blasphemy. I would love it if I could have a job trying to figure out how to get people from hell to heaven. Because the concept of hell truly breaks my heart. Like one human lifetime can get you an eternity of burning and misery, and just the concept breaks my heart. And I'm not saying it's hell is wrong, because I don't want no smoke. I just don't like it. And I know I'm allowed to have an opinion. That's all it is an opinion. I want zero smoke. Ever. I already got enough problems. No smoke. You hear me? So I would just think that would be the dopest eternal job. Be like trying to figure out how to get individual souls from hell to heaven. That would be my heaven. That's what I would like to be. That's what I would like to do in heaven. And I'm not even saying such occupation exists. Because if those are the rules, those are the rules. I would love it if the Bible had a couple of mistakes and they didn't get it all the way right when it came to hell. Because once again, the concept of hell is really upsetting. Even Hitler, bro. Just think about Hitler. He's still burning? Come on, OG. Dang. Still? Come on. I just hope it's I don't even hope about hell, because I don't want no smoke. The rules are the rules. I don't want no smoke. It just breaks my heart. I promise I don't want no smoke. I ain't questioning nothing. I'm just emotional. Y'all think I'm playing. I don't want no smoke, please. And by the way, y'all, and I mean this with all due respect. Usually people say all due respect and they say something incredibly disrespectful afterwards. But y'all know me. I'll say all due disrespect. I mean this with all due respect. The holiest guy in that religion married who he married. If you have kids, you get that. Or, hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, 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 run for your life. And also, the translation and the commands, there were so many passages, over 100 times, where they call for violence against non-believers. Now, I know there are many flawed Christians, But let me tell you about a man named Jesus. Jesus was so perfect that when he was on the cross, you hear me? Can you imagine the pain? The pain? You feel me? You feel me? You can't imagine the pain. That's a bone. Or I guess you can go through the middle part. You feel me? He was on the cross. And the angels was like this. We will come down there right now. Jesus was like, please don't. The angels was like, are you sure? Please don't. Because he felt bad for us. Because they did not know what they were doing. He was like, please don't. Please. They were like, are you sure? Because it can get wicked for them. For all of them. You hear me? As a matter of fact, it'll be no problem. Jesus is like, please don't. Please don't. Y'all got it. Let me tell you something else about Jesus. And I'm sorry to any Caucasian who I'm about to offend, but any sensible Caucasian will understand that this is just facts based on geography. We accept the fact that Pangea, the original continent, was where Africa is. Everything broke off of from where Africa is. That's why they call Africa the cradle of civilization, the motherland, etc. Right? So the original landmass was where Africa is. That means the original people were of color. They didn't have identities as far as like race. They had countries that they were proud to be from and such, and territories, but like there was people of color on Pangea. Now, your corrupt Europeans painted everybody Caucasians, and we accept that. We know the history now. It's 2025, but that does not change the message of that good book. Do you hear me? The color of the skin of the people does not change the message of the good book. Do you hear me? I don't know if you hear me. Back there in the back, do you hear me? The book is good. There are people who have done bad things with the book, but the book is good. There are people in the book who commit bad acts, but the book don't tell you to do bad stuff. The book with them squiggly lines, though. The book with them squiggly lines, though. It tells you to do bad stuff. Like, I don't even want to get on here and read on YouTube the passages and the exact quotes in the Quran where it tells you to and harm people because if I read those passages in the holy book, it will sound like I'm promoting violence, and I don't want YouTube to think that. For the record, anybody who spams a comment, I don't read your comment. I just put you in timeout. So you defeated your own purpose. If you wanted me to read it so bad, do a super chat with your broke ass. And if you're truly upset about the fact that I said that the original people in the Bible were people of color, I didn't even say like black people, brown people, but they obviously had a bunch of color. They were where Africa is. It's hot. The sun is always beating down. You hear me? Ain't nothing to be offended about. We're talking about shades of people. That's it. We all know that Caucasian people originated from after the break off and whatever, skin got lighter over time to adapt or whatever. Like that's just it's just geography and facts. We're not talking about morality of people or anything. We're just talking about geography and facts here, people. There's no need to get offended. Like, we're not talking race. We're talking about the way the people looked. That's it. Because as we know, let's just say we're talking about black people. Because, I know y'all are sensitive about race, but like they were black. Black comes in all pigmentations. You don't have to be mixed to be incredibly fair skinned as a black person. We come in the entire rainbow. Look at me. Both my parents is black. I am yellow as an Asian. It's hella Asians darker than me. Actually, if your uncle is a roofer and you're a Latino, he's darker than me. Are you a good person? I think I'm a wonderful person. You know why? I don't do things to people. I can always be a better person. I can give more. I could be a better son. Um, I'm just mentally not in the best space to be the best person to other people right now because, you know, I'm butthurt about the fact that I might have to sue Facebook. Like we got all the evidence. My lawyer is like, I ain't never seen nobody be so stubborn with somebody giving them their money that they clearly earned. Like I'm not in a wonderful headspace to be wonderful to the people I love. So I could be better, but I don't do weird stuff to people. I don't do things to people. People have done unspeakable things to me for real. And I'd be like, wow, that actually crossed your mind to do that to somebody, much less me. Like I'll hear about the things that people do to each other, and I'll be like, wow. So yeah, like if you compare yourself to bad people, I'm for sure a great person. but I could definitely be better. You know what's really funny? Y'all know I'm old. I just figured out who y'all are talking about when y'all put a juice box in a comment section. I'm not applauding discrimination towards people. I'm just applauding how clever that is. That's clever. It took me forever to figure it out, too. But once you know, it's so obvious because of the context clues. I'll be like, yo. Even Moses didn't like his people. They did get rid of the only perfect man to ever exist. That was a long time ago. We can't discriminate these days. I don't like open discrimination of an entire group of people when you don't even know any individuals. I don't like it. I'll never like it. Especially in 2025. I can understand being discriminatory in times before the internet. But we're in a day and age where you can respect individuals because we get to talk to individuals. It did say in the Bible when describing Jesus that he had the skin of bronze and hair like wool. For all the hate being a Christian gets them, there has to be something true to it because no other religions deal with that. Facts. Facts. I mean, that's what the Bible said. That's what he said his hair was like. It's what he said his skin was like. He was not that he's not the white guy who people look at from European Jesus paintings. That ain't Jesus. But if you want to believe that's Jesus, that's fine. I'm not mad at you. You're gonna be a little shook when you get to heaven. You're gonna be like, damn, they was right. Jesus is gonna be like, no, the Bible was right. Jesus probably funny as hell. He gonna be like, it's all right though. I died for your sins too, dumbass. But he won't call you a dumbass because that's cursing. And Jesus don't do that. So yeah, my only question for those of y'all who for real pray 5 times a day, how can you be okay with following a book that is okay with people who actually commands you to people? How are you okay with that? Like, and y'all try to compare it to the Bible. The Bible tells stories of people doing bad things. The squiggly book tells you to people. I know you see the difference. You just play dumb. And I don't argue with you people. I don't argue with anybody about facts. If you want to argue with me about facts, you're dumb. And I'm not going to talk to you because I could only get dumber arguing with a person about facts. I missed the super chat. Keep striving to do and be better, and God will honor your efforts. He will. God bless you abundantly and stay beautiful. Thank you, Deshaun. I feel like I've seen you in here before. Appreciate the love. Very much so. The Old Testament was full of bad Jews and Jesus still came. You see, why do you have to say it like that? I can smell your prejudice in your statement. There's no reason to be like that. People deserve individual respect. Even the people who did that to Jesus. You don't think at least half of the population felt horrible about it? They were of the same religion. They just couldn't do anything about it because they would have been too. They didn't have swords. They weren't armed. You don't think there were a lot of them who felt horrible about what they were doing? Not the ones who were participating. The ones who were hearing about it from their house. The ones who were there witnessing, but they're witnessing it like this. The ones who adored Jesus and said, if he's going to endure this, the least I can do is watch. You see, y'all don't think about those people because you don't think about individuals. You only think about your personal prejudice. Just something to think about. Respect individuals. And if you don't actually know anything, don't talk like you know stuff. Y'all, this has been a ball. I am hungry. I absolutely had to go live though because of those Epstein files being released. And once again, they didn't make anybody's mind change. If you think Trump is a POS and you think he should be in jail, those files made you feel that way some more. If you feel like people be lying on Trump, this is another example of some he said, she said. They're trying to dig up on this man because he kicking butt. You still feel this way. But this has given us new information. So hopefully, the passionate liberals who really hate this man can do some serious digging to find out if this is true. Because if these allegations are even kind of true, I probably won't go live tomorrow night because it's Christmas. You heard me. I will be posting. Um, I guess I don't have anything else to say. You folks have a good night. Oh, by the way, if I cracks you up this year and you feel like giving me a gift because of it, the links are in the bio. And remember this. What a friend we have in Jesus.